Hey, yo, what up? Welcome back. This is not a podcast. It's just my thoughts with Rob Markman, man. Shout out to all of y'all. Thank y'all for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. Please subscribe to the channel, man. I'm on this road to 100K, man, so I need every subscription that I can. But more than that, just the engagement, the share, the authentic engagement, right? The way we have conversations, even when we disagree. I appreciate all of that, man. So I'm here for you. I love hip hop, like y'all love hip hop. Been talking about the Clipse all week. Let God sort them out. Okay, the album came out last Friday, July 11th, and just kind of wanted to sum everything up, right? Because we've been enjoying the music. I think Clipse fans, and I had said this because I had heard the album. I told y'all this, that I had heard the album, and I couldn't say much, but it was just like I knew that Clipse fans were going to enjoy this. It was going to be everything that if you were fans of the Clipse, everything that you had been waiting for, everything that you had been wanting was in this album, right? So the fans have been enjoying it for sure. But we talk about like the secret to what's the secret to, like, why do so many people love this? There's some people from who maybe aren't Clipse fans, like, why are people like into this? Like, I don't get it. I don't. And that's cool too, because like some people come in late, some people maybe haven't seen it, they haven't seen the progression, they don't know the story, and it's like, yo, what is going on? What makes this so special? And the secret to their comeback, one, I think, starts with the music. So I think it's a taste level. I think, like I said, they deliver what fans love from them. Pharrell on the beats, all the beats. If you remember too, on To the Casket Drop, is when we had DJ Khalil, Kanye West. We had other producers involved, and those are amazing producers. But having Pharrell, not having Chad, we definitely want to see the day when Neptunes are kind of back together and rocking, because I think everybody loves Chad, everybody respects Chad. But having Pharrell in the fold and really doing all the beats is special. I mean, but high level raps from them, very intentional raps, very smart raps, very well thought out raps and lyricism. The luxury talk. They give us reasons to aspire to other things. It's street with a consciousness, coke rap, sure, but it's the conscious of what happens, and especially with Malice coming back, to me, is a big highlight of the album. And Malice back into the group provides even more of that conscious. There's the creativity. They created rap moments, like they created just like dope, memorable rap moments. Be it Chains and Whips and the Kendrick collab. Be it disses. We love disses. We love rap confrontation. We love rap views. So disses and airing out of grievances, So Be It and Travis Scott. Seeing Stove Guard Cook get to shine, man. Still like a young artist that people really like on the underground level, and seeing him get some shine here is dope, and seeing them embrace him. For me, first time I heard the album, when I heard Ab live on Inglorious Bastards, I'm like, oh, they answered the call. They knew what the fans wanted. Just to have Ab have a verse on there, I think was dope and special, and for like real diehard Clipse fans. Aside from the music, right? So the secret to what's the secret to this comeback? Why did this work so well? Aside from the music, and it starts with the music, and the music has to be good, or you can't convince fans of anything. But fans also seem to be enjoying the rollout, the access that we're getting, the way that we're seeing Malice and Pusha show up. I think this rollout is so important. The truth is, through the years, right, artists, particularly in rap, and I'm speaking in rap because that's my expertise in hip hop, but artists across the board, but hip hop, and I'm talking about hip hop right now, through the years, artists' rollouts haven't been very robust. Especially when it comes to traditional media. I think we're in this day and age where artists want to keep a mystique about themselves, and I get it, because a certain part of that is social media gives so much access that you feel like if you can at Beyonce, or if you can at Drake, or if you can at Kendrick, or and there's a chance of them seeing it, you know what I'm saying? Especially the artists who respond to fans, that you could at a Wale, that there's a mystique lost, if they respond to you in a way, or if we see them have a bad day, or if we see them, the camera's always on, there's a mystique loss. So I do get that artists want to keep a mystique, but when it comes to traditional media and showing themselves, artists have been giving less and less and less and less through the years. there's always special fan events like a Travis Scott, and they'll continue to be, might pop up somewhere and at a McDonald's or something like that. But Drake was having, I think in Australia, like karaoke parties or something like during his tour over there. So there'll always be those kind of special things, right? But something about this Clipse rollout seemed very nostalgic. The way that they just showed up everywhere. They announced the album around May 29th, released the first single, Ace Trumpets, on May 30th. They actually gave Funkmaster Flex a radio exclusive, which doesn't happen much anymore. The first place we hear a record isn't usually on radio, so they went to Flex, and DJ Head had, I think Flex had a piece of the record and Head had the full record or something like that. I'm not quite sure how that was divvy up, but going to the DJs, Funkmaster Flex and DJ Head was a part of it as well. At this point, by the time Ace Trumpets dropped, I had already heard the album and started to plan some content with Clipse and Genius. A lot of y'all know and hear me talk about, I work at Genius. I'm the VP of music and content over there. And I believe we shot our content on May 23rd. So my shoot was already wrapped by the time the first single dropped. On 6/17, So Be It dropped, and the Travis Scott diss, and that made headlines. But I mean, look, they sat with GQ, Fraser Tharp. That was a dope interview. So the GQ, they did the New York Times Popcast, with John Caramanica and Joe Coscarelli. They didn't dodge any questions. They talked openly about everything that was asked of them. They sat with Rolling Stone. So GQ, New York Times, Rolling Stone is really, that's not hip hop media per se, though. Fraser's a hip hop guy. Like they sat, I think they sat with Andre G. And I should know this, over at Rolling Stone. Dope, like rooted in hip hop, like knows his shit. John Caramanica, Joe Coscarelli, like know they shit and been covering the Clipse for a long time. So they sat with the right journalists, even when they did the very mainstream publications. They did Colors, they did Tiny Desk, they did a bunch of content with Complex and an interview with Pharrell. They did an Apple Music interview with Ebro. They did Breakfast Club. They sat with Elliot Wilson on his Elliot Wilson Experience show, which I think is now on Hip Hop DX. They sat with B-Dot on his new show on YouTube, Coverline. Shout out to B-Dot. They sat with me for Genius. Even though I was off camera, I sacrificed, having that moment on camera, that interaction. I'm off camera, so all the yellow background stuff you see, that's me. I'm just off camera, kind of directing, leading, guiding the conversation. We're having a conversation and we're cutting that up into what you see. They gave time to real journalists in the time when many artists don't see the value in journalists and opt for other personalities. In the midst of all that, they announced the tour with Earth Gang. They had a listening event with Apple Music. I was there. That was a dope event. They had in-store signings. They dropped different vinyl variants online, signed vinyl, different merch. They dropped an Adidas collab, a Carhartt collab, a Billionaire Boys Club collab, a Denim Tears collab. Those Coca-Cola shirts was crazy. A Verdi collab. They sat with Jerry Lorenzo for Spotify and did an interview there. Of course, longtime collaborator Cos was a part of it all. They did Breakfast Club. They performed at the ESPYs. That's a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to imagine making all those stops, going from outlet to outlet, and then having the camera on you and having to be on. That's a lot of work. And they never looked tired. They never complained. They looked present in every single interview. You know what I'm saying? I know there's the joke that Malice looked over it or whatever. Like Malice just was like, man, I'm sick of these interviews. His facial expressions are becoming memes now. But I sat with Malice, and he was very engaged. Like they were engaged, and the memes I think are the fun part that come out of it. Like I don't think those things are any intentional. I don't know that Malice is like intentionally making those faces, but the fans are so leaned into the content and watching every little piece and noticing every little thing, every little emotion, eye roll, look, you know what I'm saying, like that, and they take it and run with it. And I think that's part of the fun of the whole thing, right? Then we get the album on July 11th, and the music matched up. For the people who are Clipse fans, the album delivered. I think we can all agree on that. I'm personally connected to it, right? Because I was part of the rollout through Genius, but also as a journalist, as someone who's created some of the best music content online. As someone who has quite honestly conducted some of the best interviews with some of your favorite artists. The game is always changing, it's always evolving. But I can't tell you how many artists I've pitched ideas to. Huge artists. And I would pitch them creative ideas, big ideas, just to get passed over because they may feel like it wasn't important, or it wouldn't reach the audience they thought, or because they want to maintain a mystique, or for whatever personal reason. It is the artist's prerogative of how much they want to give themselves. I'm truly not speaking like I'm owed something, but it felt good to see something like this as a professional, as a fan. And I didn't even pitch this to them. I hadn't formulated the idea to pitch to them in the lead up. Their team came to me first and said, man, what can we do with Genius, man? Like we want to do something. The lyrics are important to us. We want people to have a lyrical experience with this music when they have the music. And we came up with the ideas that we came up with. I still haven't finished watching all the interviews. I got a lot of catching up to do. And, you know, I look forward to enjoying, you know, catching up to the rest of the content, because I was so busy working on getting the content that me and my team created out into the world. I didn't get to like absorb like everything. But this leads me to the second part of my video. I want to have this conversation with y'all, and I want to have some fun with it. I want to know from y'all, what are some of your favorite album rollouts? What are some of the most impactful album rollouts that y'all have experienced? I'm going to just name some and throw some out there. Some of my favorites, some of the ones that come to mind. Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You know, starting with the Good Friday series in the blog era, that was super impactful. Remember the Rosewood themes? All the good music would show up everywhere with the suits and the ties, and there was the BT cipher. There was the XXL cover for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy that Kanye, I worked at XXL at the time. Kanye was the guest editor on that issue. He used to show up to the office a couple of times a week and really like help design the cover, help lay out the magazine, help figure out what the editorial direction of the magazine was going to be for that issue. The Runaway joint, the VMAs, there was the Sway interview on MTV, the videos for Power and Runaway. Like when those dropped, they just felt like events. I remember that there's this spot called The Box in New York. They had a show there, which was like a surprise show I don't think people knew about. Ye was running around in different office buildings like Facebook, just playing the album. Again, I remember he came to XXL and he went out and was like, he went to where all the cubicles are. He was like, anybody wants to hear the new Kanye West album, come follow me into this room. And the whole company squeezed into this small ass room to listen to Kanye West album. But he was going through all types of corporate buildings just playing the album for whoever. So My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, hell of a rollout. Lil Wayne Carter 3, the hell of a rollout, intentional or unintentional, with all the leaks, all the mixtapes, just being around the blog era. Lollipop drops as a single, rest in peace to Static Major. Just how much of a moment that was, you know, for Lil Wayne. Yeah, man, the Carter 3 rollout was amazing. Jay-Z, the Black Album, that was his retirement. You know, of course, he didn't retire. He came back. But his retirement in 2003, the show at Madison Square Garden that he had a week after the album dropped, that turned to the Fade to Black movie. Really dope rollout. 50 Cent and Kanye West, Graduation and Curtis. You remember the sales battle? That was historic. The Rolling Stone cover with them face to face. Them on 106 and Park facing off. 50 saying he'll retire if he lost. I remember going to Best Buy the day those albums dropped and copping both of them. And it was all anybody could talk about that day. I remember that. It was all anybody could talk. Like, man, who's going to win the sales battle, Kanye or Curtis? That was a great rollout. Revenge of the Dreamers 3. Dreamville, amazing rollout. Just remember the studio invites. You were seeing which artists got invited to the studio to be a part of this. All the artists in Tree Sound Studio, and they was putting this album together. That was pretty cool, and that was different. That was definitely creative. I remember my man got an invite. Shout out to Kayvon. I didn't get an invite, and I was happy for him, but I was like, damn, man, like I felt like fifth. Like, what'd you say fuck me for? Like, I didn't get an invite. I was super happy for my man. I'm not a jealous person, but it was cool seeing it was like Willy Wonka seeing people get the golden ticket, and my man had got the invite. And I remember too, because he reports into me. He was like, "Yo, man, can I get the day off of work, man? I would go." Of course. like who would stand in the way of that, man? Go out there, man. Go experience it. Go see what you could see. Go soak up what you could soak up. But Revenge of the Dreamers 3 was a hell of a just creation and rollout and how that whole happened. And then, I just thought that was dope. Drake and 21 Savage, Her Loss, was a memorable rollout. If you remember, they kind of did the opposite of the Clipse in the way that they made their own versions of traditional media. Remember that there was the fake Tiny Desk that they did, the fake Vogue cover, the fake Howard Stern, the fake SNL performance with Michael B. Jordan introducing them. And for moments, people was like, "Yo, is this real? Are they on the cover of Vogue? Yo, are they gonna? Yo, 21 and Drake about to do Tiny Desk." I think they realized and showed the power of these media stops. I think they absolutely know it, but they didn't actually do it. So they just created like the fake out versions. And there's a creativity in that as well. It was effective, and it got a lot of folks talking. It was memorable for sure. So I think even the Drakes of the world maybe either missed the nostalgia of these traditional media stops or recognized the power in it. And for that album, they said, "Okay, we're gonna do our own spin." Of course, it caused some controversy, as everything Drake does of late. I mean, when you're that big, people were gonna love to hate, all of that. But I know the Vogue, I think there was a lawsuit with Vogue or something like that. There was some beef with Vogue because of the fake Vogue cover. But it was all very like creative and effective. But those are just some like notable rollouts that I remember. But I want to know what you think of the Clipse rollout. And then what are some of your favorite traditional rollouts in hip hop and in music? So let's go down memory lane a bit. Also, it's Friday, so there's some new music out there. So support new artists. Raekwon just dropped a new album, The Emperor's Clothes, or The Emperor's Wardrobe, I think it's called. I don't want to fuck Raekwon's shit up. Let me just see real quick. And I should know this. The Emperor's New Clothes. The Emperor's New Clothes is Raekwon's new album. I listened to it the other day. I got an advanced copy. I'm gonna sit with it some more. There's an artist by the name of Beans who I like, the female rapper. She dropped a joint called Guts and Glamour. There's a lot of new stuff out, man. So we'll sort through it. Maybe we'll come back and talk about some of the newer music. But go enjoy something. Go support something. Go like something. Go enjoy your summer. I hope the weather is nice where you are, and no matter what you're a fan of, man, I just hope you're enjoying yourself, and I hope you're enjoying this music. Till next time, all right? Peace.